Welcome to part 2 of the opening pages to my novel, The Challenger. So this is just after Ben Lee, the protagonist, has, through Fun Friends 3D, found a date locally with a lady called Ella. It was a clear irony that sex was supposed to inhibit the sadness. Obviously, I experienced pleasure, but even as I was about to come, I saw my old friend loneliness staring at me from the other side. We agreed it would disrupt our sleep too much if I stayed over, and not having taken a bliss, I raced home. There had to be more to it, to Ben Lee's existence. Back home on my sofa, I told my apartment to call Max. Yes, Max appeared on the wall of my living space. You sound happy to see me. Can we go for a drink one of these days? It'd be nice to catch up in person. This is in person. Shut up, Mr. Tech. You okay? Max asked. Remember our talks at uni? What about them? Well, you know there are some things that are best discussed. Yes, I get it. I can do lunch on Friday. I could tell my secrecy horrified him, both our identities being unmasked. Okay, see you then. Rolling into bed, I resisted the temptations of sleep soundscapes or supplements for a change and removed my earpieces. It had been a day of experiments, and I wasn't about to stop. I wanted to see if the melancholic state that was normal for me anyway would intensify. Extraordinary to experience no sensorial input without the earpieces, those transporters of the citizen's consciousness. I waited. Still only the ache of loneliness. The whole sadness thing looked dubious as hell. But I was too preoccupied by then to dwell on the absence of sadness. Disturbing pre-thoughts that lacked the definition needed for complete understanding were bouncing around in my head. Having committed to passing the night without sounds or pills, I made one further decision. I would walk to work again tomorrow in the hope of seeing the beast. Not beast, man. The mealer opened and the smell of baked dough blasted the kitchen. Hoping the old man knew what croissants were and would enjoy them, I slid 4 of them out and into a bag and dashed out to the elevators, heart thumping, neck tensing. Why the extra hurry when I'd allowed an extra quarter of an hour to get to work? The green figure sat slumped on the same spot of pavement. I relaxed. He'd seen me too and was smiling like yesterday. Breakfast is ready, I said. Thank you. Very generous indeed. You didn't deny yourself the convenience of the zip just to bring me this, did you? I wouldn't have walked if I wasn't hoping to see you. Do you mind if I sit? Well, that's a first. Sure. Make yourself at home. The man beamed again, lighting my insides. If any citizens were being driven past at that moment and were not lost in their lenses, they would be appalled at the scene, a citizen lowering himself socially and physically to the dirt of the ground to speak with and eat with a beast. Then I got more radical. I stripped my eyes of their lenses. Totally legal, but it fed people's paranoia to see you going naked and quickly provoked suspicion. Looking into the man's eyes, there was nowhere to hide. It was unprecedented. 2 lens-free individuals under the all-revealing sun. The awkwardness of it was like a first sexual experience. Without the clutter and filters of my lenses, each of us shared a reality as concrete as the pavement beneath us. I must ask, the man said, what could you possibly hope to gain from spending time with a beast? Even you call yourself that. Maybe you can start telling me why you sound refined instead of bestial. I laughed. You flatter me, he chuckled. I suppose it's because I grew up reading a lot of old novels, the sort you can't find nowadays. When I was a young man of about 20, an agent discovered my collection and confiscated it. He arrived at the scene a little late. I was already self-educated. But I must thank you for your compliment. Most citizens think we speak a coarse and unintelligible version of English. We are, it is true, entirely incapable of conducting conversations on anything that relies on technology, which seems to be most things if you're a citizen. He savoured the first bite of a croissant. My proximity to him revealed that the belief non-citizens created a noxious stench wherever they went was pure unfounded. Neither of us spoke for a while, though I struggled with the silence. How could he be so happy to eat without chatting? It wasn't as if he could read or watch or listen to anything, just sitting and eating. "Forgive me," he said at last, "but if I may be so bold, as a citizen you have everything, yet it also looks to me as if there is an emptiness inside you. How in Megacity did the man know? Do you ever have the sadness?" I asked. "What do you mean?" "Never mind." The agitations of my mind were jostling for clarity, how to give words to them, and was it safe to? "Have you seen London change a lot over the years?" I asked, choosing superficiality to shield us from questions I still lacked the courage to verbalize. "Of course. Many of those white apartment blocks, you probably live in one, are quite new. The Zip has only been around for 30 years. But you know all that, surely. You're going to see many more changes in your lifetime than I have. We don't live nearly as long as you. Bit of a relief, come to think of it." It was disorientating not seeing the time or any work updates on my lenses. Dwellings beckoned, and I hoisted myself into a squat. The old man held out a hand. "It's been a pleasure. My name's Lan." He must have seen my surprise or remembered the socially distanced ways of citizens as he quickly withdrew his hand. "My father had Vietnamese ancestry, hence the name. You look like you've a little Eastern heritage yourself." "My grandfather had Taiwanese roots. I'm Ben Lee." I stood up, thanked Lan for the chat and left. After a few steps, he called my name. I turned round. He was squinting at me through the bright morning. "It's been a real pleasure talking," he said, "but I would advise you to limit these exchanges. You may find yourself sitting here like me one day." Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it.